Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to create a Bitmoji classroom for your Canvas page. So I know most of us have seen the little Bitmoji classes floating around Facebook and YouTube, and they are super cute. So if that is something that you're interested in, let's follow along. All right, so let's just start off with Bitmoji itself. So if you don't already have a Bitmoji created, you can still do that. But for your computer, the best way to do this is to go to bitmoji.com and you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page. And you'll be able to install what's called Bitmoji for Chrome desktop. So that's basically going to give you a Bitmoji extension, and it'll pop up right here, like mine. And when I click on that, all of my little Bitmojis will pop up. So you can do that. It makes it nice and easy. If you don't already have a Bitmoji, you can create one here. If you do have one, you can just sign in and use the one you already have. Okay. So let's talk about building that classroom. All right, we're going to start with going to Google Slides and just start a blank one. All right, and then you just want to name it. I will probably just call mine New Bitmoji Room. Okay. And then for your layout, you would just pick blank. Okay, we just want a blank canvas to work with. Okay, then we're going to start with our background. So we need to actually have the classroom background first. So we're going to go to background, choose image, and then I'm just going to do a Google image search. So if you're wanting just a basic classroom, I suggest you search wall and floor, right? And that's just going to give you some rooms, options that you can play with. So the one I currently have is this one because I liked the plant, but you have lots of other options as well that you can mess around with. These, and lots of different ones. So for today, let me go with, today. All right, and so that's going to be my classroom. Probably not the greatest classroom because of the brick wall, but I've done so many other ones. I wanted to just mix it up a little bit. Okay. After that background, we're going to start building our classroom. So we will go to Insert, Image, and then search the web. Now, since we're going to be putting images onto this background, we want to make sure that the ones we get are transparent. So we always want to use transparent in our search. So let's start off with just the basics. Transparent whiteboard. Right, and then we will add a whiteboard to there. So we've got different ones. Easel, this one looks more like a smartboard. Let's try this one. I haven't used this one before. So it looks more like our old smartboards would look. There we go. And again, play around with it. If it's not the one you want, I'm not a huge fan of this one on this background, but just for the sake of today, I'll just go ahead and go with it. All right. And then we'll just continue to build. So you want to get kind of your basics in there first, things that you would want to use. I would want a bookshelf in mine, obviously. There. I've used this one before. I like this one because the shelves are empty. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, got that. So those are just kind of our basics. And then whenever you feel like it, you can add your Bitmoji. So you just go to your Bitmoji extension. And I am just going to take the one I want, drag and drop. There I am. All right, so now at this point, if this was just something basic that you would want to be using, but still manipulating later, so if you wanted to save this as a background and then later you can add more details to it, things that you might be changing often, you can do that now. You could always just go to File, download it as a JPEG or a PNG, and that would just simply save it as a background image. if you just didn't want anything else to be manipulated later, like these background images. Okay. And then when you were ready to pull it again, when you went to that background and to choose image, instead you would just choose to upload, and you would upload that image you saved. So that's best for if you want to do what I'm about to do now, which is add some live links to it. So if I wanted to add some links, I can do that. You know what I didn't do? I didn't add a text box to my board. So you can just add that there. Mrs. Hampshire's room. Center it, make it bigger, change the color, whatever you want to do. All right, so let's say that was my basic room. And let's say I wanted to add some live links. So let's say I wanted to make it to where when people came to my page on Canvas, if they clicked on the image of me, they went to my YouTube. So I can just copy the link to my YouTube channel. Go here, make sure the image you want to attach it to is highlighted. Insert link, paste, and now there's a live link. And then if you wanted to take a bookcase like this, and let's say fill it up with books or other links to things that you might use in class that are maybe more specific to your room that you wouldn't want to create a button for on the Canvas page, like iExcel or Edulastic, maybe something that's used a little less frequently, like News ELA if you're an ELA teacher. Or maybe if there was a math side or social studies side that you go to frequently, you could put those on there. Okay, if you want to do something like that, okay, let's say I wanted to do a copy, or let's say I wanted to add a book. Okay. So I'm just going to add this book for my students, because let's say I wanted them to be reading this during like their flex days in ELA, their days where they might have some downtime to read. Okay, so I've got the book there, and then let's say each week I'm going to add a copy of a link to hear it on audio. I would just add the link there. And now that's a live link. And you could continue to do that for all kinds of things. Like I said, especially if it's just content specific and you're not creating a button on the page for it, you can make that there so the students can interact with it. All right. So again, you don't have to do the live links. That's totally up to you. And then from that point on, it's actually going to vary how you load it onto Canvas. So let's say my page is done now, and I want to go to Canvas. So I've got a course down here I'm playing in. All right, so now we want to add it and create a home page with it. So remember, whenever we're doing that, if we're building a page, we go over here to Pages. We'll call this Bitmoji homepage. All right, so this is where we have two options. If you had that image just saved as a JPEG or a PNG, if there are no live links to it, the easiest way is just to sit here and upload the image from your computer and load it here. That is if it's just a basic image, nothing live to it at all. That's the easiest way. If you have that Bitmoji classroom and you want to use those live links, there is a different thing you need to do. So in that case, from here, I'm going to go File, and instead of Download, like I would download a picture, I'm going to go to Publish to the Web. Right? We're going to embed it. I'm going to pick Start Slideshow as soon as the player loads, just because if for some reason there was more than one slide, we always want to go back to that first one. Okay, to publish, and it's going to give me an HTML code. I'm going to copy that code, go back to my Canvas course, and now this is the tricky part. It's actually not tricky at all, it just looks tricky because it's using code. So to do that, go down here. These two arrows that go either way, it's called your raw HTML editor. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to paste that code I just had right here, like that. So see, it looks a little scary because it's numbers and symbols and dots, but it's really not that big a deal. It's just a basic HTML code. Right, so from here, I do need to play around with a couple of things because I want to be sure that the Bitmoji fits right. So if I don't do these next steps, let me show you what it'll look like. So here it is. See, these links are still live. I can still click on them, and they'll take me places. Okay. However, I have this toolbar at the bottom that makes it look like a Google slide, and I don't want that. And then once I publish it, I'll have some black edges around it that I don't really want. So I'm going to go back in, and I want to edit that out. So I'm going to go back to that code. And then on the second line here where it has the 3,000 before the quotation mark, I need to add a couple things. So to get rid of the toolbar, I would add this. After 3,000, we're going to say and RM equals minimal. And that gets rid of the toolbar at the bottom. Very simple. Now, to play around with the black edging, you have to play around with the width and the height here. And I've discovered that each computer is kind of different. But for me, for most of them, I found that if I stick with the 960, and instead of a 569 height, if I do 440, it gets rid of the majority of the black edging. It's not perfect, but it's most of it. So let's save and publish and see what it looks like. Aha, see? There it is. Now when I go over here to home, actually before I do that, sorry, I have to set it as my home page. So we're going to go back to pages here, use as front page, go back to home. We're going to choose our home page, pages front page, save it, and it should pop up. There you go. You see most of the black is gone, the toolbar is gone. There is still a slight edge here, which annoys me, but it is much better than what it is without editing that. All right, so we've got that. And then at that point, you would just go in and you can add anything that you would want to afterwards. Like if you would want to add buttons at this point, you can build a table below it and add your buttons. You can add other links that you would like from that point on. Cancel. All right, guys, so there you have it. It's pretty simple. That's how you would build a Bitmoji classroom and use it. Like I said, two different ways, just as an image if you don't want to play around with live links, or you can also add those live links to it. And so see, look, it's still live. This is from my homepage. If I click on it, it's going to take me there. All right, so if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and get some help. I'd be happy to help you work out any kinks, but I said play around with it, have some fun. You can do all kinds of really fun things in here and make a classroom look really engaging for your students to where they actually want to come to your page and interact. You can change it more frequently if you would like, and actually makes kids excited and actually want to come see what you're doing in your room, see what your room looks like. And as you can see, it doesn't take that long to do it. So, all right, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day.